What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Gunfish TV. I want to thank you for tuning in to my channel today. I appreciate it very much. If you're not already subscribed, be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell as well, because YouTube has not been sending out notifications here recently for some reason. But if you're new to the channel, I'm going to be going over my 2020 Ranger RT188. Now, I've had this boat for a little over a year now, and actually, to give you a little backstory on it, last year I drove all the way down to Florida. Last August, me and my wife went down there and we picked this up, and I ended up getting a really good deal on it. So what happened was the guy that had it before me, he had a 2014 model. He had some hull issues, and Ranger ended up coming back, taking it to the plant, and they gave him a brand new 2020 hull. So before he got the boat back, he ended up ordering a fiberglass boat. And once he got this, he put it for sale and actually had it at a dealer, Aquatech Marine, that I went down and bought it from. So that's just a little backstory on the boat. But I've had it for a year now, and I just wanted to go over, what I like about it. If I've had any issues with it, I wanted to let you all know, and just overall how much I like the boat. So I'm going to go over the exterior pretty much, and what I'm going to start with is just talking about the paint. Okay, now my tracker that I had before this was like a powder coated paint, and this is actually painted like an automotive vehicle. So honestly, the paint job on it, it looks better, but it actually chips a lot easier because this is like a thinner, clear coat type paint like you would find on a vehicle. But it does have a good metal coat finish to it, and I mean, it looks good. And overall, I haven't had any issues with the hull whatsoever. Some people, and like I said, the guy before me that had this had a 2014, he did have hull issues, but I have not had any. And I've beat this boat pretty good. I've put a lot of time in it on the water, and no issues so far. I do have a dent in the front of it where I actually hit a log, a floating log, and at the time I hit it, I thought I would maybe have knocked a hole in it, but it actually held up very well. It did dent just a little bit, but I was very surprised that it handled it the way it did. So overall, no issues with the hull whatsoever. Everything's done good. I've heard some people have had issues with their hulls, and they've kind of messaged me and asked me, have I had any? And honestly, I haven't. Like I said, as far as the exterior, the only thing that I would say would be the paint job. It is definitely thinner, and it does chip fairly easy. So, when I bought the boat, it had an 80-pound thrust 4-tracks on it, which I've not changed. And then it also had the 2014 Mercury Pro XS on it. And when I bought it, it had like 230 hours on it, and I've put a ton of hours on it since I've had it. But the motor has been flawless. I haven't had any issues with it. And I think I've put about, I don't know, my hour meter broke, but I know I've ran it for over 1,500 miles on the water. So no issues with it, and I'm satisfied with that so far. All right, so one thing that I will say is the trailer is a 2014 model as well. And if you come over here, I can kind of show you what I'm talking about. This trailer is the C-channel design. It was made by Ranger, and honestly, it was not built for back roads. I've had issues with actually the back of the trailer bending inward, and it originally came with like side bunks on it, and I actually cut those off because they were actually bending in and touching my boat and basically rubbing the paint. But pretty much from right in front of the fender back to the tail light, the frame of the trailer has actually bent inward. So it's actually kind of like the overall frame of the trailer has bent some. And I'm part of a Ranger Facebook group, and actually several people have told me that they've had this issue with their trailers as well. So at some point, I'm probably gonna have to end up getting a trailer. It's doing okay for right now, but just over time, even the fender right here, you can see it's actually like bent upwards a little bit. So the trailer definitely, I would say, was a weak point of the whole boat package. A highway use, I would think it would be fine, but like I said, the newer trailers are made differently, and I know that they have this part right here it actually extends all the way back, which was like a reinforcement for the trailer. So I think they did kind of fix that issue, but with my particular trailer, you know, I have that issue. So that's one thing that on this trailer itself, which like I said is a 2014, it definitely could have been done a little bit better, but I think they fixed it. I think they fixed it in 2018 actually. So but like I said, this boat is a 2020. Now the 2021s are actually built a little bit different. They're actually built right in the tracker facility, and the hulls are built differently than what this one is. So I'm not real sure what the differences is. I think the keel is a little bit different. I think the back has like a step down transom kind of, but you know, my boat's a 2020 and it was kind of the last ones built with this particular hull. So going around the boat right here, when I bought it, it had the Talon on it. Now this is something that I absolutely love. I did not think that I was really gonna like it when I got it. I'd even considered taking it off actually when I bought the boat, but I left it on here, and actually I will never have a boat without one again. I actually want to put another one on here, but this is a 8-foot Talon, and it is awesome. You know, fishing rivers like I do, I fish rivers all the time, and I'm put it down all the time when I'm fishing shallow water to retie, you know, if I catch a fish or whatever. And I actually have a remote for it on my dashboard, and I have one up front. So if I'm up front, I can just hit the button to drop it down or pick it up. Or if I'm at, you know, at the steering wheel driving at the console, I can just hit it, put it up and down as well. So it's really nice when you're docking the boat, you know, or, you know, fishing, whatever, a lot of scenarios, this bad boy comes in handy. And like I said, it has a 2014 Mercury Pro XS on it. It's a 115, and it runs, the highest I've had this boat, I had a 21 pitch Laser 2 on it, which I still have, but I got it to 48.5 one time. That was the fastest that I've ever got this boat to run, and I actually hit a floating log with it, and I think it bent the blade or something, and it won't run quite as fast now. But I have a 20 pitch on it now, which I run with 2 people, and it's double cup, and I can run about 46 miles per hour by myself or with somebody else. Like, it doesn't even matter. It runs like 46 miles per hour, fully loaded down. I got all kinds of tackle, ton of weight in this boat, because I don't spare on my tackle in it, and you know, 46, so that's not bad. It's fast enough for me. So after I bought the boat, I got a 4-inch manual, that's a Vance manual jack plate put on here, and I've messed with it, put it all different up and down, and I finally got it right where I want it. So I got that put on, and you know, it helped some, but you know, it probably didn't help enough to where it really made a difference. An upgrade that I may definitely do in the future, which I would recommend if you don't have one and you're gonna put a jack plate on, I would recommend definitely going ahead and putting a hydraulic jack plate on. 100%. Go ahead, get a hydraulic jack plate. They're like $1,000. This manual was like $250. I would recommend spending the money and going ahead and getting a hydraulic jack plate. That way you have the controls right at your steering wheel. You can raise the motor up and down, and especially like if you're in shallow water, like I fish a lot, you can raise the motor and all, and you can adjust it on the fly. So it's definitely the way to go. So that's one thing I did to it that I definitely would, if I went back, or if I'm gonna do it again, I would definitely get a hydraulic jack plate. So we're gonna get right and get into the boat. I think I've went over everything on the exterior as far as I can think of. And like I said, you know, the boat, as far as handling and everything, has been really good. The fit finish, everything's been really good. No complaints on it as far as that goes. So we're gonna jump on the inside. I'm gonna show you the upgrades that I've made to it since I have bought it, some different things I've done to it that have definitely helped the fishability of it, as also like fishing tournaments and stuff. And you know, we'll kind of go from there. So we're gonna go ahead and jump in the boat. All right, so we're right here at the front of the boat. And like I was saying earlier, when I bought the boat, it had an 80-pound Minn Kota Fortrex on it, 80-pound thrust. I still have that same trolling motor on here. I do not have an Ultrex with spot lock or anything like that. So definitely, if I was to make another upgrade to this boat, or my next upgrade, and it maybe next year, I don't know when I'm gonna do it, but And Ultrex would probably be my next upgrade, just for the sole purpose of having spot lock. So, you know, if you don't know what spot lock is, that's where you can hit the anchor feature on the trolling motor pedal, and it uses GPS coordinates, and it keeps your boat right there, and you can just walk all in the boat everywhere, and it keeps you right there. So I don't have that. There's a lot of times when I kind of wish that I did, fishing main lake points or even fishing in current, catching a fish, culling or something like that if it's too deep to drop my shallow water anchor, my Talon. And you know, it would be really nice to have that feature. So if I was going to do another upgrade, or my next upgrade, that's what it would be. But right now, the 80-pound thrust Fortrex is doing fine, but also something, and this is mainly because I've fished a lot of rivers and a lot of current, is there have been situations where I definitely could use a higher pound thrust trolling motor, like a 36 volt 101 pound thrust or 112 pound thrust. Some people might think that's overkill, but when you're fishing rivers that are running 3-4 mile per hour, you need as much trolling motor as you can possibly get on the front of a boat. So if I do upgrade, I will probably actually go with a 36 volt, but right now 80-pound thrust is getting it done. I don't have any issues with it, and the Motor Guide trolling motor has done perfect. So I have also added up front, this is a 93 SV Garmin. So it's a 9-inch screen, has down imaging, side imaging, of course 2D imaging and mapping. I do not have live scope. That will be something maybe in the future that I would get, but right now I'm fine without it. But that's what everybody's getting nowadays. But I have a 93 SV mounted up front, and I have this on a Scotty shorty mount, but honestly I've been in some pretty rough stuff, and I've actually had this mount lay down and lay over. It's a little wobbly, I'm not gonna lie. It's fine if you're not in rough water, but I definitely need to upgrade to some sort of steel or metal, you know, bracket. I don't really like the ones that go over the trolling motor pedal like most people have. I don't really like them for some reason. I like it to just be sitting off to the side right here, but I want to get, I know they make some mounts, I think they're called Gorilla mounts or something, but they're like really solid. So that's what I'm gonna get one of those soon, but I just haven't yet. But anyway, that's what I have up front, Garmin 93 SV. And then right here I have my Talon remote right here. So if I'm fishing, I can drop my Talon up and down from right here, and that's worked out really well. So the trolling motor tray that came in the boat, that was standard with the boat. And you know, pretty much up front, that's pretty much all that I've done. I have the standard strap downs for the rods. You know, I may upgrade those to like a boat buckle type deal. I know that on these boats it is enough room in here where you can put the retractable boat buckle and pull it over. I have a couple buddies that actually have this boat, and they have those on them, and they are really nice. So that might be something I would go to, but right now they're doing okay. So that's pretty much everything at the front of the boat. We're gonna move back now. I'm gonna show you my compartments and how I store my stuff real quick, and just kind of show you the size, and then also what I did as far as the lids are concerned to help with the lids not falling down. So we're gonna jump into this lid right here. Now, when you buy these boats, they do not come with hydraulic lifts on the lids. I bought these off Amazon, and I actually put them on there. They're 10-inch hydraulic lift arms, and they work perfect. They are so nice up and down, you know, it'll hold it, and I love it. It's one of the best things. As small as it is literally one of the best things that I've done to this boat. So in here, this is where I keep all of my soft plastics, and my spinnerbaits is in this particular one. And I have my stuff basically in like Tupperwares. Like these are my flukes. In this one I have my crawls. You know, I have another one that has my finesse stuff in it. But that's how I store my plastics, is in these Tupperware type containers. It keeps everything nice and neat. Your plastics stand up, so they're not like in a plastic bag, just all bundled up, all crazy and all. And then like right here, I have my spinnerbaits. I keep them in, this is actually a worm binder, but I actually keep my spinnerbaits in it. It works out perfect. So if you're looking for a way to organize your spinnerbaits, I've been doing this for years and years. It's a really good way to keep them organized. So keep my spinnerbaits in there. Then I have another Tupperware as well that I have jigs in, like new stuff, like stuff brand new in the package, buzz baits, some crankbaits, top waters and stuff that I don't want to take out of the package and put them in my 3700 Plano boxes quite yet, and I want to keep them in the pack. New frog, stuff like that. So I have another one, and then I also have a small trash can in here. It's a very short plastic trash can, and it fits right in the corner. So just when I have trash, I can just throw it in there. And or if you watch my channel a lot, you know I throw cans in my Livewell. So a lot of people say stuff about that. I think it's kind of funny. But over here on this side, same deal. I got the hydraulic lift arm, and this is, like I said, 10-inch hydraulic lift arm off Amazon. In here I have all my line. I have more line. I got a ton of line. I got my snack box right here. I got rain suit, my tie-up rope, and then also I have my spare prop in this compartment right here as well. These compartments on this boat are really big. You know, they go from right here and they go all the way back to the very back of the front deck right here. So they go all the way back. So it's a lot of storage room that these boats have in them. So like I said, I could fit a lot more in them, but you know, I have everything I need and then some, basically. So that's what's in that compartment. Now in this one, this is the rod locker. The center storage one is the rod locker. So I'm gonna let my wife back up on the back deck real quick, and we'll get into this one. So this is the rod locker. Got all my rods in there, or not all of them, obviously. I have a bunch on the deck as well. But so my rods, and then I have my 3700 boxes that I have all my lures in along the side. It has this divider right here that kind of keeps everything separated. So I have that there, and then I have some other stuff in here as well, like reel lube, you know, some extra scissors, pliers. My culling beam is in here, you know, different stuff like that, Sharpies, my hooks and everything. But one thing that I did do is right here, these like binder clips right here, basically, like you can get them from anywhere, but I took self-tapping screws and actually run these binder clips up there so I can take my lures or my soft plastics, and if I'm fishing a tournament and I know that I'm going to be using a particular one that day, I can just take it, put it up there, and then that way if I'm fishing a tournament, they're like very easy to access. So that's something that's very cheap, but something you might want to consider if you fish tournaments, or if you just fun fish or whatever. It just helps find exactly what you think you might be using for that particular day. And then of course it came with scissor holders, you know, up there on the front trolling motor tray, and then also right here scissors and pliers. So I have those, and these are basically so the people in the back of whoever's fishing with me can get a pair of pliers or whatever if they don't have them. My net, transporting and stuff, I just leave that right in the bottom right there. It's not going to go anywhere. And then also like right here on the side, right beside the seat, it has a very small slot, and that is where I keep my, you know, my measuring board for my tournaments and stuff right there. So that just like drops down like perfectly right there. This side has a little bit more room, and I keep my scale and then like my fish grippers and stuff right here. I just kind of throw them down on the side. So basically that's kind of the front of the boat. Now we're going to move to basically the dash. So we're going to move right here to the dash, and I'm going to go over what I've done there, and then we're going to move to the back of the boat. All right, so sitting down right here, I will go over something that I really like about this boat that on my tracker I was not able to do. I'm a pretty tall guy. I'm almost 6'1", or I used to be 6'1". I might have shrunk a little bit, but I can extend my legs all the way out. All the way out. That is like the nicest thing ever. So when I'm running down the river, down the lake, I can put my legs all the way out, and I can sit back and I can cruise. In my tracker, I had to sit like this, had my legs all cocked. I was kind of crammed up. Steering wheel was real close. And as much as I love that boat, that was one thing that I didn't really care for, was the fact that I had to have my legs so close, you know, to me when I was running. And I make a lot of long runs, so it got uncomfortable sometimes. But as far as the dash and as far as everything here, you know, hydraulic steering is really nice. I added a Garmin 93 SV right here at the dash, on the dashboard as well. And it came with a 5-inch Lowrance in the dash, like flush mount. You know, the guy that had it didn't have any spectacular electronics on it. So I took some aluminum plate and I made a plate to cover that hole. And then this is a Bass Pro bracket right here that I bought, and I mounted it through that aluminum plate, and she's good and solid. She's rock solid. I've been through a lot of rough water, haven't had any issues with it whatsoever. It does have an hour meter on it, which did quit working. I need to put another one on here. And then it has a water pressure gauge, which the guy I bought it from actually got put in there. And then trim gauge, you know, mile per hour, which RPM and mile per hour, which is speedometer is always off on his boats. So you got to go by GPS. You know, I got my Talon remote right here on the dash, so I can push it up and down. And then I have my old Lowrance Hook 7 right here, which is not even hooked to a transducer whatsoever. It only has power running to it because I run my map on it and I have all my old waypoints on it. And I did not want to lose my hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of waypoints from having this unit for such a long time. I did not want to lose them, so I have that mounted right here on the side. So, you know, aerator, navigation lights, bilge pump. It does have automatic bilge pump, this boat does, and it's got a little horn, which if I touch it, it's not gonna beep because I have my power off right now because I have a external power switch. But I really like the dash. It's big, it's comfortable. I can extend my legs. One thing I don't like is the windshield. There's literally no windshield whatsoever, and if anybody owns this boat, they will know exactly what I'm talking about. You pick the trolling motor up and you go run, you hammer down and you go running down the river or lake, literally water off that trolling motor is hitting you in the face constantly. And that's one thing that's kind of aggravating. But if it had a dash that was a little higher or a windshield that was a little higher, it would block that from happening. So that's one thing that I don't like about it, but I mean, that's very minor. But when it's cold, you know, water splashing on your face isn't the best thing ever. So, you know, overall, you know, and then right here, I have my Livewell controls right here, empty, recirc, auto, all that. If you buy this boat and you're wondering how the Livewell control works, I have another video on my channel that goes over that. So just search for Ranger Livewell control and you will find that video. So 12-volt outlet right there. I use that when I'm running my dash GoPro. And overall, that's it, you know, as far as the dash goes. So no real complaints on it, just the windshield. So that's one thing that I would definitely would like to see would be a bigger windshield. But I know in the 2021 models, they're exactly the same. They have not changed it. So, all right, we're gonna work to the back of the boat and then we'll finish up the video. All right, so now we're gonna start with the seats and move on back. So basically the seats, I really, really like the seats. The seats on the boat are very, very nice. They're very comfortable. And I have to say that I really, really, really do like them. I haven't had any issues with the stitching, anything like that. Now I do keep my boat under a cover or under a carport at all times. I do not leave it in the sun. The only time it's in the sun is when I'm fishing. That's one thing. If you own a boat, you cannot invest your money in a boat and just leave it sitting in the sun. I can't believe, people do it, whatever, but I can't do it personally. So invest in a cover. They're like $100 on Amazon. So just get one. But anyway, the seats have held up very well. And then also right here, I bought this console last week, I think, somewhere in there. I got it last week and I got this off Bass Pro and it was only 90 bucks. And I actually really, really like this thing. You know, it has drink holders, you know, it has a little compartment here where you can throw your phone or whatever. And then also this front opens up. I got my keys in there. You know, when I'm fishing, I throw my cell phone in there, my wallet, whatever. And I mean, she snaps down, it snaps down tight and it is not gonna blow open. It goes right on here with 4 screws. This boat, when I did buy it, had a center seat in it and I took that out. So this console, I really, really like it. Like I said, 90 bucks off Bass Pro, you absolutely cannot beat it. So under the seats is storage. Now under here, I have, you know, my life jackets. I have, you know, my fishing gloves, my throwable device, stuff like that. And then also on this side, this seat comes up. I have, this is my cover for my depth finder right there. But I have tools. tools, first aid kit, you know, some hand wipes, my prop wrench, just stuff like that. And this is actually waterproof. Under these seats is waterproof, has a little high lip. And also there's something else I wanted to bring up too, is my compartments. I've fished in a lot of heavy rain and I've had no issues with water getting in my compartments whatsoever. Some people have said they've had problems with it. Personally, I have not, so no issues with that. So under the seat, tons of storage under there for your stuff. I really like the storage that it has under the seat. So now we'll get to the Livewell. So it has a big Livewell on it. I cannot remember how many gallons it is, but it's very deep. It can handle some really big fish. You know, I've had one up 8 pounds or bigger in there on one side and absolutely no problem. One thing I did do that was pretty cool and that has been really nice, these are actually just cabinet handles. These are cabinet handles, and I put them up there to hold my cull floats right there. Not my culling beam, my cull floats. And you know, that's worked out really nice. They were like $2. Put them on there with self-tapping screws and boom, there you go. I mean, they're up there fishing a tournament, you know, you raise it up and they're right there. So this is the back compartment, you know, where you have your gas tank. It has a 22-gallon gas tank. Now, to a lot of people, a 22-gallon gas tank is an absolute gracious plenty. Well, I make really long runs and I've almost run this thing out of gas more than once fishing tournaments. I make 80, 90 mile runs in tournaments and I can run that far, but every time on the back of my mind, I'm thinking about my fuel. So I kind of wish it had like a 28-gallon tank somewhere in there, but it has a 22-gallon tank. That's enough, but I kind of wish it had a little bit bigger. But for most people, that's fine. So I got my weigh bag back here. The original battery charger did go out on it, so I did put in a Minn Kota 30 amp 3-bank charger in here. That was pretty easy to do, so I got that in here. And then I have 3 27 series interstate. These are EFB batteries. That's enhanced fluid batteries, and they perform like an AGM, and they're very good batteries. I've actually not had any issues whatsoever, and I've fished a couple times. I fished 2 days in a row without charging them in the wind, and I've not had any issues with them whatsoever. So very good batteries. So you might want to go check them out because they are they're pretty good. All right, so one thing as far as talking about my depth finders, I did not mention it earlier, but I have separate wires ran to my depth finders, and that's so you don't have interference while you're using them. You do not want to run them off of your main, you know, your circuit panel that's in the dash of these boats or up front, because you will end up having interference. So you want to run, you know, a separate wire for both your units. Now I will admit it is an absolute pain. It is a pain. So basically, to run your transducer, you have to come in through here, and it's a tube that goes up to the front, and then for the wires, you have one that's all the way down there in the very bottom corner, and it is crammed full of wires. You cannot hardly get anything through it. The way I did it was I actually bought some clothes hanger wire, like you would put on a you know, clothes hanger outside on a clothesline pole, and that's pretty stiff, and I was able to rod that through and get it up there. But it literally took me hours. It is, whew, I would probably take it to somebody if I had to do it again. I'm not gonna lie, because it is a job. But you know, that's how you do it. I would definitely recommend doing it that way, but I will forewarn you, it is a lot of work, and you might have to take some breaks so you don't destroy something, because it's pretty aggravating. But as far as the separate wiring, I also have a separate switch ran. I ran a separate switch right here for my depth finders running back to my battery, and then I have the main circuit breaker, which came on the boat by itself. So when I cut this toggle switch on, that powers on my 2 units. So that's pretty much what I got going on back here in the back. You know, nothing real crazy. Like I said, it does have an automatic bilge pump back here, manual or automatic, which is really nice. And there's something else too, is I actually did put this boat in one time without my plug in. I kind of forgot to put it in, which it's only the second time I've ever done that. But literally the boat was floating fine. The bilge pump didn't even come on or anything until I put the boat in reverse. When I put the boat in reverse and like it pushed water in, that's when the bilge pump come on and I knew something was going on. But literally the boat had been in the water for like over 10 minutes and it didn't even have enough water in it. I looked in the back and it wasn't even hardly any water in it. So these boats do float pretty good. They got a lot of flotation in them. So the only thing left basically is the very back side compartment. So this is just a compartment. This is a box that it has a drain in it. And on this side, I have the absolute essentials. You need some toilet paper. I got peroxide in here, sunscreen, hand sanitizer, bug spray, which you absolutely need. And I need to put on right now because I'm getting eat slam up. And I got some hand soap, Band-Aids, just different stuff, electric tape, some spare bulbs, a couple spare reels thrown down in there, some extra rod tips. So that's kind of an essentials type deal right there. But that's a fairly waterproof compartment as well. I have gotten a little teeny bit of water in that one for some reason, but it does have a drain in it, so it does drain out. And then the one on the opposite side, it's exactly the same. And on that side, I just have like Windex and spray cleaner for cleaning the boat, and then some rags. That's really all. And my fire extinguisher. My fire extinguisher's on that side. But other than that, that's it. You know, the boat does have a cup holder here. It has a cup holder up front, and then now that I put the center console in here, I have cup holders right here. So basically, overall, I would give the boat a 9 out of a 10. So not bad, not bad. And this is, I'm about a year and a little over a month now in. So about a year and a month I've had this boat, and I do use my boat more than a lot of people. So I've had it in some really, really rough stuff. I've actually had it in some 4-footers, and it handled it really, really well. It absolutely surprised me in the way it handled big water. Now I will say that your back will kill you, and it will beat the absolute dog crap out of you because it is an aluminum boat. So it's not made for that kind of stuff, but it will handle it. Like I said, it's rough, but it will handle it. So the boat's been flawless. I really like it. The carpet's held up well, the seats, everything on the interior. I haven't had any issues whatsoever. So, you know, like I said, I'm only speaking for 2020 model. I'm not really speaking for the new 2021s. But as far as my boat is concerned, 2020 1-year review, I absolutely love it. I would recommend, if you're looking for an aluminum boat, looking into one. There's a lot of other good choices out there as well, and I may end up in something else some years down the line, but I'm very satisfied with the boat. So if you're in the market for one, definitely check them out for sure. But like I said, weigh your options and look at some other stuff as well. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, comment down below, and I really appreciate y'all watching, and I'll see you next time on Gunfish TV.